Hello everyone. In the previous session we had seen object data type, that is the spatial data type. In this session we will understand var data type. So let's do this. So let's say if I have a var a equals to 10, it is going to be valid, and if I do var b equals to, if I go ahead and can type the string, let's say abc, going to be valid. If I do var c, again if I take floating point values, going to be work, no problem. So if I print these values, console.writeLine, something like let's say int value going to be stored as a, and then if I take my string values, going to be stored as b, then let me just do this concatenation, and then if I have my float value, uh, float values is going to be again stored as c, I'm sorry, c, and then if I go ahead and run this will work. Let me just make these okay. Now if I run this, you can see integer 10, string abc, and float 1.26. so basically it supports any data type, just very similar to that of the object data type. But the thing is, that object data type, when we do this declaration, object obj equals to 10, okay, just like this, object obj equals to 10. This 10 is basically an object data type, not an integer, not any other float data type, not double data type. It is an object data type. Okay, so you cannot do any mathematical operation here. But in the case of var, when you declare this var a equals to 10, this is basically an integer data type. Okay, not, it is an string data type, it is an floating data type, not the var data type. Okay, so now you can do the mathematical operation on it, and there's going to be no problem at all. You can basically check this out in the ILDism, that what kind of data type it is there. This is an object data type and this is an integer data type. Let's check this out if it is working or not. So I build my solution, I go to my test, open folders in Windows Explorer, bin debug test, and if I use my ILDism, drag and drop test program, and if I go to main void, you can see there are so many declaration over here. There is an object obj, which is, in our case, it is this obj, this one, integer a. So this is we want. You can see where a equals to 10, so this is of type integer, not the object data type. You can see this is object data type. Okay, then we had taken abc as in string, then float values, and basically this is basically an object. This is nothing but this console.writeLine. Okay, so you can see var data type, it is an anonymous data type. It compile time, it changes, it converts your data type into the data types that you want to put here. So if I take as 10, this is an integer data type. At compile time, it will convert from anonymous data type to integer data type. Okay, now if I do my mathematical operations that we were talking about, so let's say if I do here, let's just remove this, and if I take 10 to, let's say, 20, and then if I take another variable where c equals to, let's say, a plus b in our case, then if I do something like this, it'll work. Okay, no problem in the mathematical operation. But first let me close this ILDism, and then it'll give me the 30 here printed. Okay, so there is no problem at all. But now there is one problem here. At compile time, it will give me an error if I do something like conversion from string to integer or something like that. So let's say if I have one instead of variable b, let's say if I have variable g, which is having one string, that is let's say abc, and sorry, and if I go ahead and do something like let's say this c, and if I pass it to G, to G, if I pass it to C, and if I go ahead and build my solution, it will give me, I'm sorry, let me just variable b equals to 20. Okay, now if I run and do this, you can see cannot implicitly convert string to integer. So this is basically a problem. So you need a typecasting over here. I can do this, and if I if I just do some casting over here, still it will not run because you see there is invalid string. So if I run it, give me an error. You can see convert string to integer. So this is basically the problem. But now if I just remove this ABC and if I put my 100 over here, and again this will give me an error, it will not run because I cannot do this casting. If I do something like int.parse, which needs a string, right, we had seen this int.parse in our previous session, and if I run this, there's no problem. You can see 100 going to be outputted. So if I put some invalid string here, and now if I run, it will give me an unhandled exception. You can see format exception. Basically input string was not in the correct format, so my input string, that is this one, is not in the correct format. But if I do something like 100, no problem, it will run. 100 gets printed. So this is a problem here. So you cannot do something like you cannot assign the wrong format data types here. So this is the basic problem of where data type. Okay, I hope you understand it. Thank you so much for listening.